Kara, and thank you so much for joining us in our Inspiring Women series in honor of Women's History Month.
Thank you, Sam.
So let's start off with telling our viewers a little bit about your education and your career path and what really led you to the CIWB.
Sure. I actually was very fortunate to grow up in a home that valued education. My parents were both educators. My godmother and my aunt was also an educator. She was a principal when women didn't necessarily have those roles. So education, it was expected that my sister and I were going to go on to college. But I'm also a believer in lifelong learning. I think it's really important. So even when, as an adult, I foster that in myself, but I also foster that in the people that I manage. I think it's really important. And what brought me to my current role, I've worked in workforce development for 17 years, as a matter of fact. And I was a corporate recruiter, and I was actually laid off. And as you know, when you are laid off, you go to a CCS. Yeah. And believe it or not, I was quite chatty in that CCS and probably telling people how to do their job. And during that session, I was in Norwood and at the Career Center, and the woman very kindly and politely said to me that there was an opening and strongly recommended I take it. I've had the opportunity to work in two career centers and Comcore, and now I'm here.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, as the executive director of the Workforce Board, can you talk about what benefits you've received from your leadership role?
Oh, goodness. I think leadership really benefits so many different aspects of your life. You gain confidence, you have strong communication skills, you learn to negotiate, you develop a strong character, but you also get an opportunity to ingrain yourself in the business communities that you work in. So for example, here on the Cape, I'm have the opportunity to be on different boards here, which has been really great. I enjoy that. I'm also on boards in the community that I live in. So you really have an opportunity to bring the passion that you believe in to a different showing a different aspect, representing yourself on those boards and really lending yourself and your passion to things that you believe in that are important to you, which is so important to me, as a matter of fact.
Right. And has being trusted in the leadership role taught you anything about yourself?
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really fortunate that I get to come to work every day and love what I do. And I think, if I could, not everybody gets to do that, I guess.
Right.
And that's probably more important than any amount of money you can earn, is really being able to love what you do. And I think I'm very thankful that my board has faith in my ability to do my job and do my job well during a pandemic. As you're aware, I took over, and then shortly after the pandemic ensued, and I never saw that coming.
Right.
And so having the skills of working in this environment for so long really helped me steer this ship through the pandemic. And, so much of what we had to navigate during that time was not only difficult, but we were able to collaborate with so many of our partners. And, I'm glad that I was able to have the faith of my board to not only be able to call them and ask their opinions on different things, but as a team, as a board, as an executive team, we certainly had to make difficult decisions. Right. I think the bottom line is I'm really fortunate that I love what I do.
And now I have to ask, is there anything you wish you knew earlier in your career?
Yes. I think that as a young woman, I wish that I knew that it's okay to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that oftentimes you work so hard to avoid mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
but it's those mistakes that you learn from that
Right.
kind of catapult you to learn. You learn from your life lessons,
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
some of those life lessons, are game changers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now switching gears a bit, a lot of our youth programs here include the importance of mentorship. So can you talk about how leaders provide useful mentorship to women to help them advance in their careers?
Yes. I think mentoring is so valuable. As you know, I
Mhm.
have been ingrained in our mentoring program, and we've had the ability to mentor just so many wonderful young women and men in this
Mhm.
program. And I have been very fortunate to have some phenomenal mentors
Mhm.
throughout my career. So, one of the things that I would encourage all young adults, whether you're just starting out in your career or whether you're still in high school or over at the community college or over, you're just starting at your college, is to have a mentor. It's so important. And I think that folks really need to have a mentor at every point in your life. It's really something that I have valued, and
Mhm.
I would certainly recommend it.
Mhm. And now you talked about some mentors that you had in your life. So, do you want to talk a little bit about them and what you might have learned from them?
Yes, I have really been fortunate to have really wonderful mentors. I had a mentor when I first started here in the workforce system that was phenomenal. I know you have listened to me talk about her. She pushed me. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. She gave me incredible opportunities. I probably wouldn't be in this position without her. She really um, really believed in me and gave me the opportunity to run a youth program.
Mhm.
And I think together we applied for grants. I mean, she really I think gave me some incredible opportunities and
Mhm.
encouraged me to pursue education. And she was also there when my kids were young. And that's a really difficult time, as any young mom knows, when you're balancing a career and you want to be there when your kids are in a play or sporting events. And
Mhm.
we figured it out. And I think it's always so great to have a boss like that values an employee, but also motherhood at the same time. And that's truly a gift.
No, I think that's so important to have those supportive networks. Absolutely. It's key to any career that all of us are in. Um,
Absolutely.
do you find that you draw any professional inspiration from other leaders?
Oh, we have tremendous leaders here on
Yeah,
the Cape. We
yeah,
really do. I think so often we tend to look outside of our own
mhm,
network, and we
right,
tend to look at political leaders or, movie stars or
yeah,
singers but you know what? We have great, fantastic leaders
right,
here on the Cape. I mean, we have wonderful leaders at the college or at some of our other nonprofits here, but
hmm,
also across the state. I mean, we
true,
just navigated this pandemic, and we wouldn't have been able to do that without some of our healthcare leaders,
hmm,
without some of our leaders up at the State House. So I
right,
absolutely draw strength from my colleagues
hmm,
every day. I
hmm,
mean, I couldn't do this work without them. And
right,
I think the nice thing is that we have really grown, I think, closer,
hmm,
and we can pick up the phone and call each other, because
right,
these last 2 years have been
hmm,
really difficult.
hmm,
And to have that kind of network has been really important over the last 2 years,
hmm,
and I think valuable.
hmm.
We've learned a lot from each other.
I agree. And now, talking about all the challenges we all had to come together and work through, how do you balance the work and life? You know, what do you do for self-care?
Is there a balance? And where that would be something I need to do a little bit better of. But yeah, I do definitely need to get better at that. But I have 2 dogs, so I like to hang out with my dogs. I like to work on my house. I'm definitely a beach bum. So all of those things.
Yeah, right.
I like
enjoying the summer. Yeah,
family. I like to hang out with my kids. I do. You know what? I think my kids are very inspiring. I think people say that this generation isn't very inspiring, but I work with a lot of young people, and even my own children, they're very inspiring. They follow their own path, and I'm always at awe what they have done. My son has, from a very young age, had said he was going to enter the golf world, and he found a mentor, and one after another, and really stuck to his guns, and followed that career path. And that is amazing to me at such a young age. And young people are very inspiring, and I think we as adults need to make sure that we're very cognizant of that, and we can always learn from them too.
There's certainly the next generation of young leaders. So on that aspect, as we wrap up this interview, with a final note, what career advice would you give to those young leaders in their early stage of their careers?
What advice would I give? Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And you know what? It's not always about the money. Money is important without a doubt, but sometimes the greatest opportunities come from, an opportunity within the workplace that isn't attached to a fiscal increase. It could be writing a grant. It could be being attached to a project. Sometimes those opportunities can really catapult your career, but it's not attached to a fiscal increase. And so I think young adults really need to pay particular attention to opportunities like that. Get involved in your work community, be involved with a board, take risks. I think those things are so important. Take a public speaking class. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there in your work community. Show your best self. Take risks, and always have a mentor.
That's such valuable advice, Kara. I think all the information that you provided throughout the interview I've certainly taken in and I'll utilize in my professional development. And I know other young leaders and our viewers will as well. So thank you so much for participating, and we hope to talk soon.
My pleasure, Sam.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.